We have a 3-step process that help our agents scale to 6 to 7 figure when it comes to their GCI. It's a 3-step pillar. And inside that, I want you to write your goal, which is 175, right? And I'm gonna explain all of them. First one is branding and broadcast. So the second pillar, we call it AI tech nurturing. So the third part, probably the most crucial part, is tracking and scale. So you want like sort of consistent front end flow so you can focus on the sales side. What attracts you to a call like this?
So I think kind of what interests me about this was basically the fact that it seems like it's good leads that you're getting, not necessarily those bad leads. So that's basically kind of what interested me in this, and basically just curious to find out more.
And when you said like poor lead and time waste, what do you mean by that?
So a lot of the times when I get my appraisals, it's often people who just want to know about the market and just want that information. They're not necessarily interested in selling. That's basically what I mean. So they're basically not serious about selling.
Why do you feel like the current process that you have attracts this kind of people?
I don't know. It could be a number of things. It could just be because they're bad leads. They're just poor leads. And they're just, I mean, I'm getting them just through the traditional ways of database calling, cold calling, letterbox dropping. So it could just be because it's just an old process. I'm not really targeting too many interested.
Yeah, I mean, like with those sort of method, you just hope for the best and just make sure that the number is a lot, right? And
basically, yeah.
Do you do those yourself?
Yeah, so I've actually just had an assistant start with me last week. So I'm really getting her to do lots of more cold calling because I feel like sometimes when I get my listings, I get too busy and I kind of lose that prospecting because I'm just focused on the sale now. So I'd like kind of like a bit, something that's more continuous and consistent.
So you want like sort of consistent front end flow so you can focus on the sales side.
Correct. Yeah. Because I think a lot of the time what happens is, you know, say I do these appraisals and then I get, you know, some listings out of it. Then I just focus on the listings.
Yeah.
And then once they sell, then I don't have any stock anymore. So I like to be something that's a bit more continuous. Yeah. So it's just a continuous cycle, I guess.
I guess that makes sense. How long has it been like that for, where you feel like the current prospecting method that you do, like which is the manual old school way, is attracting a lot of this time waster? How long has it been like?
Oh, that's only just been recently because I think I've just got a PA now that started with me. So it's been pretty recently, whereas before, you know, I was getting like a listing or two. But I think I'm at the stage where I'd like to get a lot more listings and kind of just vamp that up a bit.
So you feel like before, like doing door knocks, it doesn't attract like bad lead. It's just recently that it's just what you're doing. You think the same thing, but it just somehow attract bad lead. Is that what you're
basically saying? Yeah, basically. I just feel like it's not getting any good leads. I think that's the problem is I'm getting people, you know, say like they are interested in appraisal, but they're not interested in selling.
Okay.
So there's a lot of that happening.
I see. So it's just a recent sort of situation, but that never happened before.
Yeah, no, not too much before. Before it was more, I get less listings, but that's how I was okay with traveling. Whereas now that I have a PA work with me, I want to take it to the next level. So I'm ready to take more listings, more leads, more calls, so I can delegate that process as well. So before it was okay, but now I want to take it to the next step where I get more appraisals, where I get more leads, I can get more sales.
I guess like with the current situation where you keep doing what you're doing, and you just attract these sort of like prospects, how does that affect what you do every day? Like, not
necessarily affects it, just feels like sometimes it can be a bit of time wasting on, you know, I'm spending a lot of time doing appraisals for leads that are actually not really interested in selling. So it affects my time, I guess. I'd like to have things that are a bit more efficient, get leads that are more efficient, spend more time on those leads that are actually serious.
And when you say it affects your time, is it like a big deal thing?
Well, yeah, because I feel like
your family time as well. Like, is it just...
No, I just think it's more like I could be spending that time with a vendor that is serious about selling. So I'd like to invest more time in those people that are actually serious rather than those bad leads and time wasters. Because a lot of the time when someone says, yes, they want an appraisal, I will do an appraisal for them. But at the end of the day, they're not actually serious about selling. And they're like, oh, no, we just want to know what our house is worth. We're not actually selling. So then it affects my time. So I'm like, okay, I could have spent that time on a lead that was genuinely interested in selling, and I can invest more time into that. Does that make sense?
Okay. If you keep doing that, what is the ramification of that?
I just feel like it's not going to get anywhere.
It just stay in the
like,
same circle and just...
Yeah, basically it's not really getting anywhere. And so, you know, when I saw your message, I was like, oh, maybe I can look into this, because if you guys have some sort of system that basically attracts more serious sellers, I can invest my time into those leads rather than a bunch of other people that just want appraisals but are not serious in selling.
Okay. Well, when you say you're going to stay in the same cycle and all that stuff, like, what would happen if, like, nothing changed?
I'd have to definitely look into a different strategy, definitely another strategy, social media perhaps. So yeah, I think I'd have to look into a different strategy, because I feel like it won't be working for me this way. This is not how I get to the next level. You know, I'd just be staying the same, which that's not what I want.
Mm-hmm.
I want to basically get to the next level. Yeah. So if I wanted to stay the same, then I'd just continue what I would always be doing, basically. But I want to get to the next level.
From your perspective, why do you feel it's important now, though, that you sort of like ramp things up and get to the next level? Like from the...
Yeah, I think for the business perspective, I think I've done quite well. And I think I'm ready to take that leap into basically getting more money in my pocket, increasing my commission. And now that I've got a PA working with me as well, I think that's, you know, the time for me to take it to the next level, basically. And it's good for the business as well.
You feel like it's just a timing thing? Because like you've been in business for 2 years, right? Is it 2.5?
Correct.
Yeah.
Almost 2 years, yeah.
Yeah. So why is it just a readiness thing? Because like, why not next month? Why not last month? Why now though? You know?
Because I'm ready now. I'm ready to take it to the next level now. I mean, if it was like this, I should have done this sooner, if anything. Yeah, definitely should have done it sooner.
And when you say next level, and you know, obviously that's mean more lead, more sales, but like, what does that translate to in terms of GCI? What does next level mean for you? I'd
like potentially in the next year to basically double what I'm getting now.
Which is?
So I think I've done about 80 to 90,000 at the moment. If I could get into the six figures, that would be great in the next 12 months.
Yeah, more like 100K a year.
Yeah, basically that would be good. That would be ideal.
Financial year or like calendar year? It's like the goal here.
Financial year, yeah. So this financial year, we're in April, May, June. So I've probably got another 2 months. Mm-hmm. So in that 2 months, ideally, I'd like another $70,000 in that 2 months.
And what would that be for the financial year? Like, what would the total be?
So by the end of this financial year, I'd like another about 70,000, 50 to 70,000, I think.
And that would make the total around 170.
170, yes. From last financial year to this financial year, I'd like the total to be approximately 150 to 170.
In the next 2 months?
Yes.
Yeah, which is around end of June.
Yeah, so I think up to now, I think I'm thinking about 80,000.
Okay, cool. Now, what the number we're talking about next financial year, more realistic for you is more like a 300K target.
Yeah.
Like 300-400K target. Why that specific number? Like, what does that allow you to do for your business? Like, what difference does that make?
I think it'll help with my assistants as well. If I can achieve that target, I can then employ salary assistants as well.
Right now it's not salary?
No, right now it's not. It's basically they're just helping me with the leads and then...
Okay, yeah. So more of a full-time, like more security when it comes to employee.
Yeah, I guess, I mean, like once I get to that stage where I've, you know, obviously got more money, I can then get my assistants to do the work for me and I can work less, basically.
Appreciate you answering the question, Neil. We
That's
can
right.
definitely help. You're not alone. Like a lot of Asians face the same problem, right? So,
okay.
Would you like me to tell you how assistant entail and how we can help you with that?
Yeah, definitely. Go for it.
I'm a visual learner. Like, do you have a pen and paper in front of you?
I do, actually. I've got my little pad right here.
What we do is that we have a 3-step process that help our agents scale to 6 to 7 figure when it comes to their GCI, right? Using a couple of social media and AI tools. So I want you to draw a triangle because it's a 3-step pillar.
Yep.
And inside that, I want you to write your goal, which is 175, right? And I'm going to explain all of them. So when it comes to working with, an agent like yourself, we focus on three things, right? Number one, positioning. We position you as the go-to agent in the area to build up your goodwill and your database for long term. Number two, we're going to fill up the pipeline consistently with qualified seller in your area using AI text and automated nurture to actually warm them up before you speak to them. So you get a consistent flow on the front end. And number three, we put tracking system and workflow in place to make sure that you can scale when it comes to duplicate that system to your salespeople, team member. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yeah.
I'll go through up them one by one, obviously. The first one is branding and broadcast. So I want you to write branding and broadcast. Right. So what most agents do is they actually slap a bunch of fancy image and chuck them on Facebook and click on the boost button and just hope for it to work. But that's what they get, just hoping, right? So what we actually do instead is we manipulate Facebook inbuilt targeting system to hyper target prospects in your area who are actually in the selling mode. So this is actually get the intentional seller in place. So we do this by leverage Facebook AI algorithm, which you probably know by now, allow us to target people based on their behavior, their age, geolocation, and demographics, all that stuff. Does that make sense so far?
Yeah.
So doing that is allow us to establish two things. Number one, because we did this under your social media profile, is allow us to actually position you as the number one go-to agent in the area. So the ad will come in from your face and your logo and your brand, right?
Oh, so it actually comes from my social media page?
Yep.
Oh, right, okay.
Yep, so that's positioning, right? And number two is because you get seen by thousands in your area, the targeted ad also capture qualified listing opportunity and send them directly to your pipeline and your inbox.
Okay.
The best part is that we actually running everything in the background, so you don't have to do anything. You just keep doing what you're doing right now on top of door knocks and stuff. We actually guarantee minimum, not total, 20 of those listing opportunities that come into the pipeline, right?
Okay. Yeah.
And that way it's great consistency on the front end, which reflects your number of appraisal, listing, and GCI. Does that make sense so far?
Yeah. Yep.
No question?
No.
So the second pillar, we call it AI tech nurturing. So while getting lead is quite important, it's only first step of the game. Firstly, is qualify prospects on your behalf by asking them a set of seller questions. And by answering those questions, they qualify themselves. So in your case, it would be how soon you want to sell, what's the reason for selling, what's your residential address. So by answering that, they show that they have some sort of intent when it comes to selling.
Right, okay.
And secondly, once they answer that, the AI start having conversation with them on the back end when the nurturing start to happen. The AI send text and email, said, hey, this is Neil from ABC company. When is a good time for the appraisal? So it's sort of nurture and have that touch point conversation for you ready to go. Make sense?
Okay. The AI technology that you have, where it's basically having a conversation with potential sellers, is that, who's that conversation with?
With the seller who answered the questionnaire.
But who does the seller talk to? Like, do they think they're talking to me, but really they're talking to a computer?
Yeah. So basically,
kind of.
How it works is that when someone fills in the questionnaire about how soon they want to sell and all that stuff, on the first part, they get chucked into our database, right? And our AI said, just send them text and email, said, hey, this is Neil from ABC company. When is the good time to have an appraisal at your property, right?
Right.
So it's just more like that. Once they answer, that's when you actually take over. So the AI just follow up. Once they answer, that's when you actually take over, right?
Right, okay, yep.
There are human element to it.
Okay, yep.
This is a very important thing in our process because it's actually allow our agent to actually save time and actually focus on themselves by not having to manually qualify or follow up with the prospect, while at the same time build trust and touch point with the existing pipeline. So the best part of this is that all of the content in terms of the AI questionnaire and the AI follow-up is written by us, been tested and proven with other agents in the Australian market, and actually will last for an entire 6 months. To actually keep follow-up, like let's say someone not ready to sell, they're not ready to buy, just follow up for them, nurture them for 6 months. So the third part, probably the most crucial part, is tracking and scale. That's actually the connecting piece of a puzzle. So what we do here is for the last pillar, our goal is to set up a system for long term, right? To serve the business for long term. So what we do is that we give our agent access to our very own CRM when it comes to the pipeline, so you can see who's hot, who's cold, who's not cold. So you next time you can make decisions based on data, and it links to how much money you also spend on the ad as well, right?
Right. Okay.
So
Yep.
on our end, we also give you a dedicated account manager. So we have one guy that's just gonna sit there and monitor your account 24/7, make sure that you got the cheapest cost per lead, and we consistently do this by putting out our special dynamic ad. So we launch a lot of ad to attract both buyer and seller, and we actually kill the loser and actually scale the winner. So over time, your cost per lead get cheaper and cheaper, and you get more consistent lead flow. So basically, you get one guy that's gonna monitor the account, and you get dedicated support channel and weekly accountability call, and also a agent university course as well. How do you feel about this? Do you feel like this could be the answer?
Yeah, it seems like it's kind of what I'm after. Actually, I do have a question.
Yep.
So in terms of like pricing, how does that work? Like, how do the fees and everything work for you guys? Is it kind of like per lead, or how does that work?
Yeah, that's a good question. So our program is a 90-day program, and it's just a one-off payment. But before we actually go through the finance and investment option here, I do want to know, like, how do you feel about this though? Like, is it like a good fit, or like, is it?
Yeah, well, from what you've been saying and drawing it for me, it seems like it's basically going to cut out the time wasters that I've had. It seems like that AI system that you have is pretty good at how you say it basically qualifies the sellers. So it saves me having to do that. That seems pretty good to me. How does it work? How do we go about doing this?
Yep. So what we normally do is that we just process everything right now. Just have a quick form that I fill. We just take your CC and we send you the receipt straight away, and then we schedule an onboarding call with our account manager, which she's gonna go through like the slide with you, so you actually know what's gonna happen. And then
Right,
it takes
okay.
us around 1 or 2 business days to set up.
Okay.
And
Yep.
then after that, it's just a matter of you pressing the green button to go. Once we launch, the lead will come in the first 24 hours.
Right, okay. Yep. That seems pretty good. So is someone going to get in touch with me?
Yep. So we actually schedule the onboarding call now. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yes. So someone's going to touch base with me.
Yep.
And we can basically go from there.
Yeah. We normally just need your card right now, and then we'll process it, and then the receipt will be in your inbox.
Okay, can you guys send me an invoice, and can I do it via bank transfer?
We don't normally do bank transfer. Is that
Oh, okay. Can you guys send me an invoice?
Okay.
Because I'll need the invoice, and then I'll pay via the invoice.
Send the invoice, and it'll be in your inbox like in 2 seconds.
Oh, okay. We have to do it now? I've just got another meeting at 2:00.
Okay, cool. What happened is the invoice, it just have a card, so you gotta put in your card there, and then you press pay. It's just really a simple invoice, and then you get a receipt after you pay. Once we process, like, let's say if you can process it now, you get a receipt after anyway. That's what you actually use for the tax.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, no worries.
I'll touch base with you tomorrow, and we can get it sorted.
Alright, thanks, Leo.
Awesome.
Bye. Hey guys, if you enjoy watching the video, make sure that you also checking out this content right there.